is happy to bring you coverage of Milford Legion baseball. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Coet back here on the call and getting set to open up the 2018 Zone 4 playoffs right here on MyFM. And this is the Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home pregame show. Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home, located on Water Street in Milford, serving all faiths for over 50 years. So here we are, after a 24-game regular season was gone in a blink. It is time to begin Legion Baseball's second season as the Zone 4 playoffs have arrived. It ended up happening a day later than anticipated, of course, with those torrential downpours that came through the entire state over the course of the afternoon yesterday. But happy to see the sun back out and ideal conditions here at Pheno Field as Milford Post 59 looks to open up their 2018 playoff run tonight. They will host the number 6 seed in the zone in Cherry Valley Post 443. Milford ended up finishing up the regular season with an overall record of 18-6, one win better than they finished up back in the 2017 season, and for the second straight year, Milford serves as the number 3 seed in the Zone 4 playoffs. And so by virtue of that top 3 seeding, Milford guaranteed themselves a home game to start out this playoff tournament, and again welcoming in the number 6 seed in Cherry Valley Post 443. Cherry Valley, a very strong season this year. They finished up at 14-10 overall to earn their first playoff berth in quite a while. Cherry Valley, a nice turnaround season. They ended up finishing in last place in the zone standings a year ago, but battling back, they had a very successful season, as I mentioned, and 14 victories, good for the 6th seed position in this Zone 4 playoff tournament. And of course, getting you up to speed on the rules for this Zone 4 playoff tournament. It is the same format that we've had now for the last couple of seasons. Right now, the 8-team playoff field is broken up into 2 separate brackets, Bracket A and Bracket B. Milford operating out of Bracket B along with the number 2 seed Shrewsbury, the number 7 seed Framingham, and this number 6 seed in Cherry Valley. So the other game that Milford will have an interest in that will take place as the day goes on here today is that game between Shrewsbury and Framingham. Shrewsbury playing host as the number 2 seed to the number 7 seeded Framingham Post 74. That game taking place up at Holy Cross, and that will get underway right at the same time as we begin this one here tonight. So we'll keep an eye over at Holy Cross for any updates that might come our way. A couple of other playoff games taking place as all Zone 4 playoff teams are in action tonight. Over in Bracket A, it is the number 1 seed Leominster taking on the number 8 seed Northbridge, and then the number 4 seed Grafton Hill hosting number 5 seeded Northborough. So again, any updates we get on any of the other playoff games as the evening goes on, we will certainly relay them to you here on air. But getting excited for playoff baseball to return here to Pheno Field. It's been a rocky start to the playoffs the last couple of years for Milford. Of course, you think back to last season, Milford losing to Wachusett in a disappointing extra inning defeat here at Pheno Field. They were able to bounce back with wins against Maine South and also Leominster to keep their Zone 4 playoff hopes alive, but ultimately Wachusett came back to beat them a second time, eliminating Milford from the playoffs. They did have an opportunity to play in the state tournament. They lost on their first day of tournament play there as well before battling back all the way to the state championship game. So Milford hoping to get off to a positive start to the playoffs here tonight as they will host Cherry Valley. First pitch is imminent, just about 10 minutes away from that first pitch. So before we get started, we will continue to get you ready for baseball here on the Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home pregame show. When we come back, we will get Coach DeVito's thoughts heading into this playoff matchup. That is part of our New England Flooring Coaches Corner, and that is next. Stay tuned to coverage of Milford Legion baseball right here on MyFM 101.3.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please stand as we honor our country with our national anthem.
Welcome back inside Pheno Field. We're going to get this playoff game started about 4 minutes ahead of schedule as the first pitch is already out of the hand of the Milford starting pitcher, Jonathan Rice, and it is ball one to the leadoff hitter, Tyrus Garvin. So we will continue to get you updated on everything you need to know for tonight's playoff game as we go along. A called strike now evens the count as Milford and Cherry Valley get the Zone 4 playoff started here at Pheno Field. Tim Coet happy to be back on the coverage here on MyFM 101.3. And Jonathan Rice now getting a ground ball hit off the bat of Tyrus Garvin to second base, and it's an easy 4-3 ground out to open up tonight's ball game. Tyrus Garvin out number one for Cherry Valley. He will be followed in this first inning by the shortstop Evan Fritz and the first baseman Cam Hart. And we will keep it here in between innings as we'll give you the full starting lineups for both of these teams. As again, all of our pregame information. First, our Coach's Corner, which is, as always, brought to you by New England Flooring. Looking to update the flooring in your home? Choose New England Flooring on West Street in Milford. We'll get to our starting lineups and our injury report to round out all of our pregame information in just a little bit. But again, getting this playoff action started a little bit ahead of schedule, but set to go here now with one out and the bases empty in the top half of the first inning. And now Evan Fritz standing in on the right side. And the pitch delivered from Rice is high for ball one. Of course, Jonathan Rice coming off of a memorable performance in his last start with Post 59, contributing a no-hitter as part of a 1-0 victory over North County in the second game of doubleheader action last Monday. Now Fritz hits a ground ball off towards the left side. A nice play by Jonathan Rice as he springs off the pitcher's mound to field it, and a good throw to first. And it's 2 up and 2 down on a couple of ground ball outs on the infield. 1-3 on that out. And now with the bases empty and 2 down, we'll see the first baseman, Cam Hart. Milford hoping for a different outcome against this Cherry Valley team than what they experienced in both of their regular season meetings this year. Cherry Valley sweeping the regular season series against Milford. Hart now ready to see the first pitch of his at-bat, and it misses for ball one. Hart was a key contributor in both games against Milford in the regular season. He had 2 hits and 2 runs batted in the 10-9 victory at Rochdale Park, which was the second meeting of the season. Hart now ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Milford in their full home whites to get the playoffs started. And now a ground ball sent foul towards the backstop, and that brings the count to 2-1. Cherry Valley in their customary gold sleeveless jerseys with black undershirts. A 2-ball, 1-strike pitch now on the way, and it is up and away for ball 3. Defensively tonight for Milford, it is Alex Reynolds behind the plate, Aiden Wild at third, Chris Brunt at short, Matt Shaver at second, and Sam Parker at first. Left to right in the outfield, Jacob Beater, Sean Rebello, and Tommy Ambrosoni. Now the 3-1 pitch into Hart, and that is down and in for ball 4. So after getting the first 2 outs, Jonathan Rice issues a walk. Rice ended up allowing a 1-out walk in his last start, and that ended up proving to be the one and only base runner in the game for North County. 1 walk away from a perfect game for Rice, after nearly pitching a no-hitter in his second to last start of the regular season back on the 4th of July against Framingham. So Rice coming into the playoffs pitching his very best in a Post 59 uniform. Able to deliver a called strike one into the Cherry Valley catcher Mike Bordeaux, who now takes a fastball low, and that brings the count to 1-1. Still plenty of sunshine coming across the field here at Pheno. The light's not yet on. Much better weather than what we experienced 24 hours ago. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That is in for strike 2. And Rice now 1 strike away from bringing an end to this top half of the first inning. With Hart leading away at first base, here is the pitch. It's hit hard on the ground towards second. Waiting for it is Shaver. He will flip to second base to get the force play that ends the inning. So the 2-out walk ends up proving to be harmless as Bordeaux grounds into the 4-6 force play to end the inning. But again, we will keep it right here as we are only just now to the scheduled first pitch time of this game tonight. So a quick top of the first inning already in the books, and now we will officially bring a conclusion to our Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home pregame show. First by bringing you tonight's injury report, which as always is brought to you by Milford Regional Medical Center. And so no names to report on that injury report. Milford with an opportunity to get an extra day of rest before these playoffs got started with the rain out yesterday. Milford was able to escape the entire regular season without a rain out. But they saw their first game of the playoffs postponed, as did every other team around the zone, so that full playoff schedule getting pushed back a day. But everyone rested, healthy, and ready to go. So that is your injury report, which is brought to you by Milford Regional Medical Center, earning an A grade in patient safety from the Leapfrog Group. And with that, we will now bring you the full starting lineups for both teams. Our starting lineups proudly brought to you by the Blair House of Milford. And we will start with the Cherry Valley lineup. You already heard the first four hitters in it, but we'll bring you the full lineup. Leading it off is the second baseman, Tyrus Garvin. Evan Fritz, the shortstop, bats second, with the first baseman, Cam Hart, batting third. The catcher, Mike Bordeaux, bats fourth, with Ryan Sanderson playing third base and batting fifth. Chris Costigian is the right fielder, batting sixth, with Nate Shoemaker in at center field, batting seventh. Batting eighth and playing left field is Jason Panion, and in the ninth spot is your starting pitcher for Cherry Valley, Aiden Gilman. And for Milford post 59, a little bit of a different looking starting lineup for this first game of the playoffs. Leading it off in center field is Sean Rebello, with Aiden Wild moved up to the number 2 spot playing third base. Sam Parker bats third and plays first, with Alex Reynolds the cleanup hitter and catcher. Tyler Almeida is the designated hitter, batting fifth, with Matt Shaver, the second baseman, batting sixth. Tommy Ambrosoni plays right field and bats seventh, with Jacob Beater in at left field, batting eighth. And in the ninth spot, playing shortstop, is Chris Brunt. And again, your pitching matchup, Jonathan Rice pitching a scoreless top half of the first inning. He is opposed on the Cherry Valley side by the tall right-hander Aiden Gilman, who right now finishes up his warm-up tosses out on the mound. He'll get set to face that top three in the Milford order. So those are your starting lineups. Again, brought to you by Blair House of Milford, making their home your home, specializing in assisted living, long-term and short-term care, adult day health care, and more, all at the Blair House of Milford. And so post 59 now set to take their first at-bats of the game. Offense was a little light for Milford through a lot of the end of the season. Of course, you look back to those final 3 games, you had a couple of nail-biting 1-0 victories in there, including that no-hitter pitched by Jonathan Rice back on July 9th. They followed that up with a 1-0 win against Northbridge in their home regular season finale on July 12th. And then it was a 7-0 shutout loss up at Pincanavino Field against Leominster in the regular season finale back on July 15th. So only 2 runs over their last 3 games of the regular season. And so that no doubt prompted a bit of a lineup shakeup. You see Aiden Wild moved up to the number 2 spot, Sam Parker up to the number 3 hole, with Alex Reynolds batting cleanup. So we'll see if those hitters can get going a little bit higher up in the lineup. But the same fixture is in the leadoff spot for post 59, and that is Sean Rebello, who now will stand in on the right side. Sean, an outstanding regular season, batting .364. He drove in 16 runs in the regular season and swings away at the first pitch and pops it up over on the right side of the infield. Settling underneath is the first baseman, Cam Hart. He will make the catch. And so Rebello a fast out here in the bottom of the first inning. That brings up Aiden Wild, the third baseman. Wild, a bit of an up-and-down regular season at the plate. He comes in with a .286 batting average through 22 games played in the regular season. Total of 20 hits on the year, which included a double, 2 triples, and 3 home runs. 2 of those home runs clearing the fences. One of them took place right here at Fino Field. Wild also had 17 runs batted in on the regular season. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Wild. That misses outside. We saw Aiden Gilman both times that Milford faced Cherry Valley, but neither of those games did we see him on the mound. So giving Milford a different look, it was Josh Colon and Tyrus Garvin who teamed up on the mound for the 6-5 win here at Fino Field back on June 19th. And then on June 30th up at Rochdale Park, it was Chris Costigian, Brian Mercier, and Jason Panion who combined for the 10-9 victory here. Aiden Wild sending one deep in the air out to right field. Now circling around it is Chris Costigian, and he's able to make the catch. He started straight back in right field, then curved back towards the foul line and was eventually able to settle it into the glove for out number 2. So Aiden Wild showing some power to the opposite field, but couldn't get it over Castigian's head. And it's now 2 outs and the base is empty with Sam Parker at the dish. And Parker will take the pitch a little high for ball 1. Back into the windup for Gilman, and the pitch misses away. The regular season for Sam Parker, he batted .309. A couple of doubles, 2 triples, a home run, and 16 runs batted in. A big swing on the 2-0 count. He was all geared up for a fastball, but did not make contact, and the count goes to 2-1. Gilman already accepting the sign, and now fires in the pitch on the outside corner for strike 2. So Gilman works it back to even. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and the base is empty. And here is the pitch. Parker able to lay off, and it just misses for ball 3. Should Parker reach, we would see the catcher Alex Reynolds in the inning. Here's the next one from Gilman, and it is swung on and missed for strike 3. So Gilman, a very good start to his night on the mound. He sets down the side in order, and we're already done with the first inning here at Pheno Field. It is scoreless between Post 59 and Cherry Valley, Post 443, here on MyFM 101.3. Jonathan Rice right back out on the pitcher's mound to start the top half of the second inning. A quick first inning on both sides. Just saw a single base runner. That was on the 2-out walk for Cam Hart in the top half of the inning. Milford going 1-2-3. And so it is now Ryan Sanderson sending a pitch foul up over the backstop and out of play as the count evens at a ball and a strike. Sanderson will be followed by Chris Castigian and Nate Shoemaker in the inning. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count to the Cherry Valley third baseman batting on the right side. And the next pitch from Rice is popped up in foul ground behind first base. Parker will go as far as he can, but that will drift off into the crowd, evening the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sanderson was credited with an RBI. The last time these two teams met up back on June 30th, he ended up walking with the bases loaded. Here's the 2-ball, 2-strike pitch, and that drifts too high. Milford was able to take an early lead in both games that they matched up against Cherry Valley in the regular season, but as soon as Milford took those first inning leads, Cherry Valley was able to battle back and take the lead for good. Sanderson now takes ball 4 high, and so we see a second walk now out of Rice.
Now batting number 21, the right fielder.
Puts the leadoff man on ahead of Chris Castigian. Starting in right field for Cherry Valley tonight, as we mentioned, he was the starting pitcher to face Milford the last time around for these two teams. Ended up pitching 5 2/3 innings of pretty good baseball. He kept his team in the game. Milford was able to chip away. They did ultimately score 6 runs off of Castigian, but he made a lot of big pitches to keep the lead intact. And ultimately Cherry Valley with a walk-off 10-9 win. It's a no-ball, 1-strike count on Castigian here with a runner at first base. And now Rice able to deliver a strike. Rice had 13 strikeouts as part of that no-hit performance against North County. Here's his 0-2 into Castigian, and he is just barely able to make contact, rolling it towards the backstop. It stays a no-ball, 2-strike count. The lead growing at first base for Sanderson. He doesn't go as the fastball misses outside. And the count will now go to 1-2. That loss to Cherry Valley at Rochdale Park was the last loss before Milford went on their best winning streak of the season, as now this ball is sent out to right field. A diving attempt at a catch for Tommy Ambrosoni, but the infield umpire rules that he made the play on the bounce. Ambrosoni diving in towards the infield, made a bid for a spectacular catch, but apparently came up just short. That was very close out in right field. Ambrosoni read it well off the bat, timed the dive as well as he could. But he played it on the hop, and then Sanderson, who had to play it halfway in between first and second base, was just barely able to scramble into the second base bag ahead of the throw. So it is a hit for Castigian, and now 2 on with nobody out for Cherry Valley. And Milford now expecting bunt. They see Nate Shoemaker offer at it. He cannot make contact as it goes for strike 1. Now timeout called by the infield umpire, who made his way over to second base. Not sure if there was an issue with the runner or an issue with the base, but everything good to go now as play continues. Another bunt attempt by Shoemaker. Again, he can't get it down. They do double check. The home plate umpire checking down to the infield umpire to see if there was indeed a bunt attempt by Shoemaker. And indeed there was, so it is a no ball, 2 strike count. A couple of runners on and nobody out. Rice in a jam here in the second inning. Here's his pitch, and it's a fastball that he yanks outside. One ball and 2 strikes. Rice to the set. Here's the pitch, and it's hit on the ground towards third base. A high hop for Wild. Has a little trouble getting it out of the glove. He's able to get an out at second base, but that's all Milford gets. That took a high hop on Wild right at the end of the play. And that might have resulted in a little bit of an extra effort of getting the ball out of the glove. Wild was deliberate with his throw to second base to make sure Milford got an out in the exchange. They did, as Castigian was retired. Shoemaker safe on the fielder's choice, so it's now runners at the corners with 1 out for Cherry Valley, threatening to strike first, as they now have their number 8 hitter, Jason Panion, at the plate. Panion takes a fastball in for a called strike 1. Jason Panion with some key contributions to that second victory of the season against Milford. Pitching out of the bullpen, also reaching base as part of that walk-off inning. He's behind in the count here, 0-2, as Rice will now step off. Ryan Sanderson is the lead runner at third, with Nate Shoemaker at first. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it misses outside. Rice hasn't quite been able to get a firm grasp on that outside corner to these right-handed hitters. He's ready now with the 1-2 pitch. Tests that outside edge again, but misses, and the count evens at 2-2. Milford plays at double play depth up the middle. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's low for ball 3. So Rice has been able to get 2 strikes on a lot of these hitters so far in the second inning, but he's had difficulty putting them away. Now a full count. And now a hard hit ball back up the middle, fielded by the shortstop Brunt. He throws to second for the out there, and on to first for the double play. The throw from Brunt really handcuffed Shaver at the second base bag, but he was able to get the out. Could not get much on the throw to first base, but Parker was able to pick it out of the dirt just ahead of Panion hustling down the line. So a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play, and Milford escapes the jam unscathed. We are still scoreless here in the first game of the 2018 Zone 4 playoffs on MyFM 101.3. Welcome back inside Pheno Field. It is now the bottom of the second inning. A scoreless game so far between Milford post 59 and Cherry Valley post 443. Cherry Valley threatening in the top half of this inning with 2 on and only 1 out. But Milford able to get a key double play, a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. And Matt Shaver really doing the bulk of the work there to make that double play happen. So Milford will now send batters 4, 5, and 6 to the plate against Aiden Gilman. And Alex Reynolds swinging away at the first pitch. He pops it up behind the second base bag. Over goes the second baseman, Tyrus Garvin, to make the catch, and one pitch results in an out in the bottom half of the second inning. Defensively for Cherry Valley, it is Mike Bordeaux behind the plate, Ryan Sanderson at third, Evan Fritz at short, Tyrus Garvin at second, and Cam Hart at first. Left to right in the outfield, Jason Panion, Nate Shoemaker, and Chris Castigian. One out in the inning. Tyler Almeida at the dish for Milford. Almeida had a nice finish to the regular season. He comes in with an overall batting average at .315, 23 hits and 73 at-bats on the season. That included a home run and 16 runs batted in. Also had a couple of doubles. Here he sends a pop foul over the backstop and out of play, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count on the Milford designated hitter. Gilman back into the windup now. Here's the 2-1, and it's lined out to right field, sinking quickly, and it's down for a hit. Fielded on a bounce by Castigian, so there is the first Milford hit, the first Milford base runner. It comes with one down here in the bottom of the second. And we want to set the scene for you with the full slate of playoff games around Zone 4. We'll get to that as this inning progresses. Matt Shaver right now about to stand in for his first at-bat of the postseason. Gilman will now work out of the stretch. Here's his first pitch, and it's a fastball good for strike one. 4 total playoff games around the Zone 4 tonight. The early one, Grafton Hill versus Northborough, being played at Tivnan Field, a 5 o'clock first pitch. Then Leominster hosting Northbridge at 5:30 before the 2 night games. Milford versus Cherry Valley, and Shrewsbury hosting Framingham at Holy Cross. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count now on Matt Shaver, the Milford second baseman. And we do have one final score to report already for you. We'll get to that after this next pitch. And it's swung on and fouled away. And Shaver now down in the count 1-2. So Grafton Hill, the number 4 seed, hosting the number 5 seed Northborough. Northborough had played Grafton Hill tough throughout the regular season, and they played them tough again here today, coming through with a 3-2 victory, upsetting the number 4 seed. The runner takes off from first base. The pitch is low. The throw down from Bordeaux is excellent. It was there waiting for Tyler Almeida, and he is very out, caught stealing by a wide margin at second base. And judging from the body language over in the third base coach's box for Coach DeVito, perhaps a hit and run play on there that was missed by Shaver. So now there are 2 outs, and the pitch is sent slowly on the ground towards third base. It pops out of the hand of Sanderson. A do-or-die play in on the grass at third base for Sanderson as he charged it. He was able to make the initial play, but as he transferred to the throwing hand, the ball came loose. It should go as an infield hit for Shaver. It's a tough play for the third baseman to execute. So the caught stealing really hurts. It could be 2 on, perhaps with 1 out. Instead, now a runner at first base, 2 down, and Tommy Ambrosoni at the plate. And Tommy swings at the first pitch, hits it hard on the ground to second. The umpire had to dodge the ball as it came past, but it ended up played on a bounce by Tyrus Garvin at second, and he gets the out at first base, and just like that, the inning comes to an end. So a couple of hits for post 59. They can't do anything with it, and it is still a 0-0 game between Milford and Cherry Valley as we travel on to the third inning when we come back next here on MyFM 101.3. Coverage of Milford Legion baseball on MyFM 101.3 is brought to you in part by Mass Renewables of Bellingham, providing you with clean solar energy and battery backup solutions. Coverage also brought to you in part by Milford Regional Medical Center, earning an A grade in patient safety from the Leapfrog Group. It is still scoreless here between Milford and Cherry Valley. Now on to the top half of the third inning. And Jonathan Rice delivers the first pitch of the frame, up and away for ball 1. Facing his counterpart, Aiden Gilman, to open up this top half of the third. And now a hard hit ball on the ground to shortstop, waiting for it is Brunt. He fields, fires to first, and gets the out. 6-3 on the grounder, and the leadoff batter is retired. A little bit more on that victory for Northborough over Grafton Hill. Grafton Hill was able to take a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th inning, but Northborough answered back with 3 runs in the top of the 6th, and they ended up holding on for the 3-2 win. A diving play at the first base bag to just barely record the final out of the game to preserve the victory for post 234. So an upset win already here on the opening day of Zone 4 playoffs. With 1 out and the bases empty here at Pheno Field in the top half of the 3rd. It is a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Tyrus Garvin. Cherry Valley now going 2nd time through the lineup. And now a bounding ball hit over towards first base into the glove of Sam Parker. He will take it to the bag unassisted. And a good start to the frame for Jonathan Rice as he induces a couple of ground balls. And so it's been a bit of a different effort so far out of Rice. A lot of swing and miss stuff out of Rice in that no-hitter performance against North County, but he's been pitching much more to contact through these early innings. All of his outs so far have been on ground ball outs. He's gotten 2 so far in this inning. Now Evan Fritz at the plate, and he takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. So Jared Keene of the Milford Daily News doing a good job of covering the action for that Northborough Grafton Hill game. A lot of coverage for the Daily News for these zone playoffs. Kevin Stone in the house for this game tonight, as now Evan Fritz sends a liner just out of the reach of Chris Brunt at shortstop. And Fritz keeps the inning alive for Cherry Valley with a 2-out base hit.
Now batting number 13, the first baseman, Cam Hart.
And that will give Cam Hart a chance to bat in the inning. He was the first Cherry Valley batter to reach base, as he collected a 2-out walk back in the first inning. And Rice misses with the first pitch for ball 1. Rice will look over towards first base before sending in the next pitch, and that is fouled away off to the right and out of play. Very good showing here in the crowd tonight at Pheno Field. Fans excited to see the playoffs returning here to Pheno Field once again. Now a swing and a miss brings the count to 1-2. Of course, fans don't have the state tournament to bank on this year. Milford, not the host of the state tournament this year, will be played out in Quincy. Here's a 1-2 pitch. That misses. So in order for Milford to get to the state tournament here in 2018, they have to win their way in through this Zone 4 tournament. Trying to get it off to a good start here tonight. There's a 2-2 pitch now, and it's hit hard, but right at Aiden Wild at third base, who's able to make the catch. A hard liner off the bat of Cam Hart, but he is out number 3, bringing an end to this top half of the 3rd inning. We are still scoreless as we play on here on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, My FM 101.3. Still looking for our first run of this playoff matchup. The hit column is tied at 2 apiece. Milford getting their 2 hits last inning, but a caught stealing hurt Milford's cause. Here in the bottom of the 3rd, they will have Jacob Beater, Chris Brunt, and Sean Rebello due up against Aiden Gilman. The right-hander now ready with his first pitch of the inning, and it buzzes the inside part of the plate for strike 1 against Jacob Beater. Beater batting .295 on the regular season. Takes a pitch up and in to even the count. Student from Nipmuc Regional High School, had 18 hits in 61 regular season at-bats. Now looks at a called strike to even the count at 1-1. So this Milford offense continues to be cold. As we mentioned, just 2 runs in total over their final 3 games of the regular season. They were fortunate that They were able to go 2-1 in that stretch. Their pitching really picking up the slack in those 2 1-0 victories. It was Rice with the no-hitter, followed by 6 innings of shutout ball from Justin Metcalf. As Beater swings and misses. A pitch that might have been a ball, but Beater offered at it. He's the second strikeout victim of the night for Gilman. And once again, Gilman able to keep the leadoff man off base. And now Chris Brunt will stand in. Brunt takes the first pitch for ball 1. Chris batting .246 overall on the regular season. Played in all but 1 game through the regular year for Milford. Of course, all of the regular season stats for Post 59 are technically through 23 games. They did have a forfeit win in the mix that came against Wachusett. Of course, very unfortunate to hear the news at the end of the regular season. Despite the best efforts, Wachusett was forced to forfeit a second game, forfeiting against Northborough in the final days of the regular season, which resulted in Wachusett having to fold up for their remaining games and now looking at being banned from Legion play. So very disappointing to see the Zone 4 team out of the mix. Here's a 2-2 pitch now into Chris Brunt, and it is on the knees for strike 3. A good pitch from Gilman, who's had it going through these early innings, back-to-back strikeouts here in the 3rd. And now can Milford make the adjustments as they go second time through the order? Back to Sean Rebello, who popped up on the very first pitch he saw in the bottom of the 1st inning. Now swings away and sends a ground ball over towards third base, fielded by Sanderson. And a good throw across the diamond, gets to first base in time to finish off another 1-2-3 inning. Milford goes quickly and quietly, and we now have 3 innings in the books here at Pheno Field. It is still 0-0 between Milford and Cherry Valley here on MyFM 101.3. Coverage of Milford Legion baseball on MyFM 101.3 is brought to you in part by Charles River Bank, making banking a lot smoother with branches in Medway, Mendon, and Bellingham. Coverage also brought to you in part by the UPS Store, with locations in Milford and Franklin for all your shipping and printing needs. And coverage of Milford Legion baseball also brought to you in part by the Tradesman. Great food, great entertainment, and great fun at the Tradesman. We are already into the top half of the 4th inning here at Pheno Field. Game number 1 for Post 59 in these 2018 Zone 4 playoffs. It's a pitcher's duel so far between Jonathan Rice and Aiden Gilman. Rice out there for his 4th inning of work, working on a 1-ball, 1-strike count to the Cherry Valley catcher, Mike Bordeaux. Bordeaux bounced into an inning-ending force play in the 1st. And is now ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Cherry Valley has won 3 of the last 4 meetings between these 2 teams. And now a fly ball hit out towards the alley in left center field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Cut off quickly by Sean Rebello. Here's the throw into second base, and it's there in time for the out. Bordeaux thinking double all the way, as that ball was sent towards the alley in left center field, but Sean Rebello was able to close on it and then sent a nice accurate throw into second base just in time to get the out. So credit Bordeaux with a single, but he's out trying to stretch it into extra bases. And the outfield assist from Sean Rebello, who continues to play at an elite level out there. We've talked about it quite a bit over the years, but Milford has been graced with so many elite level defenders out in center field. Here's an 0-1 pitch now into the number 5 hitter, Ryan Sanderson. It's an even count now of 1 ball and 1 strike. And now a fastball from Rice, good for strike 2. Think back to the days back in 2011, 2012 with Ian Strom out in center field. Strom, of course, now in the Mets organization. Kevin Lynch doing an outstanding job in center field from Hopedale High School for a couple of seasons here. Part of that run to the Northeast Regionals. Sean Rebello putting his name on that list as well. Here's a 2-2 pitch now, and that drops in perhaps a little low. And another full count as Rice struggles to put these hitters away, still looking for his first strikeout. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and it's hit on the ground foul down the third base line. The bases are empty with one out in the top of the fourth inning. Sanderson walked in his first at bat tonight. And about to see a 3-2 pitch here from Jonathan Rice. Here it comes. And it's sent in the air out to right center field. Over goes Tommy Ambrosoni. He has it sized up, and he makes the catch for out number 2. Of course, Legion Baseball is front and center on our sports radar here tonight. No Major League Baseball to report for you as the team's finishing up the All-Star break. The All-Star game being played down in our nation's capital last night with the American League coming through with an extra inning victory. Now a pop-up in foul territory behind first base. First pitch swinging by Castigian, and Sam Parker was able to make the grab, and that brings a swift conclusion to this top half of the fourth inning. Mike Bordeaux able to lead off the inning with a single, but thrown out by Sean Rebello, and then Rice able to get the next two batters in succession. So on to the bottom of the fourth we go. It is still scoreless between Milford and Cherry Valley here on MyFM 101.3. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3 is brought to you in part by athletic-based training for summer fitness or fall athletics. ABT has a program for you. Aiden Wild standing in on the right side to start this bottom of the fourth inning for post 59. He takes a called strike out of Aiden Gilman. 1 ball and no strikes on Wild. And now watches that pitch sail in at the knees for a called strike. Correction, that ball ruled inside, and now the 1-1 pitch is belted out into left center field. That is down for a base hit. Wild to turn around first base, but he will hold there with a leadoff single. Not wanting to repeat the mistake he saw out of Cherry Valley in the top half of this inning, so Wild smokes one out into left center field for a leadoff base hit. And so that evens up the hit column yet again. It's no runs on 3 hits with no errors for Milford, no runs, 3 hits, no errors for Cherry Valley. For the first time all night, Milford with their leadoff man aboard. Gilman immediately checks on Wild at the first base bag. He dives back in safely. Sam Parker waiting in on the left side. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Aiden Wild is a base stealing threat. It was second on the team in stolen bases, had 8 thefts in the regular season, second only to Sean Rebello's 15. And that is not going unnoticed by Aiden Gilman as he continues to try to keep Wild close, sending another pickoff throw over in that direction. Parker waiting for a 1-0 pitch. Here it comes. Wild starts and stops down the line as the pitch misses for ball 2. So Wild pulling some focus from the starting pitcher. Milford now ramping up some chatter out of the first base dugout, many of the bench players standing. Here's the next pitch into Parker. It misses outside for ball 3. So post 59 trying to get something going. The leadoff single, and now a good count at the plate for Parker. Gilman accepts the sign from his catcher, now sets. And here's the 3-0 pitch. Parker lets it go, and it just grazes the outside corner for strike one. Parker struck out swinging to conclude the first inning. And now ready to see the 3-1 pitch. That is in for strike two. Parker was on his way down to first base, but then received the bad news from the home plate umpire. It is now a full count. So we'll see if Wild gets a head start here on the 3-2 pitch. He holds as Parker swings away and fouls it off to the left, out of play. We'll keep an eye out for any possible updates from that other early game on the schedule, Leominster versus Northbridge. Meanwhile, another payoff pitch upcoming to Parker. This time Wild goes as the pitch is very high for ball four. So Milford now with a runner in scoring position for the first time tonight. Wild at second with Parker at first, 2 on with nobody out. And now it looks like we'll have our first mound visit of the game on the Cherry Valley side as post 443 head coach Jim Stevens heads out to the pitcher's mound. Coach Stevens really doing an excellent job with this team this season. A lot of new players in the fold. He had a group that worked hard, really believed in themselves, and guided them through a 14-win regular season. And we mentioned it during our New England Flooring Coaches Corner with Coach DeVito, but 3 new teams in the mix for the playoffs this year compared to what we saw a year ago. Grafton Hill, this Cherry Valley team, and also Northborough all back in the postseason this year after not making the tournament last season. So good to see some different teams stepping up and having good years. So Alex Reynolds now in at the plate. He takes the first pitch strike, wanted to offer at that pitch, ended up holding up on the swing. Reynolds looking to break back out. Still good numbers on the season, a .343 batting average, but he was definitely slumping towards the end of the regular season. Still leads the team in runs batted in with 24, but he's been frozen at that number for the last several games. A chance here with a runner in scoring position, but he's down in the count, 0-2. Reynolds, through the regular season, batted .421 with runners in scoring position. We'll see what he can do here, down 0-2. Here's the pitch, and it's low, and a nice block by Mike Bordeaux. And good communication for Alex Reynolds. He saw that the catcher was able to hang on to that one. Held up a stop sign for that runner at second base. So it's now a 1-2 count. As Reynolds sets up in tight on that right side batter's box. Here's the pitch, and it's taken outside for ball 2. So Reynolds trying to fight his way back into the at-bat. And his final season of eligibility with post 59. Trying to come through here in the postseason. And now a pickoff play on at second base. But Wild dives back into the bag safely. It was Tyrus Garvin, the second baseman, sneaking in behind the bag. But Wild right back out to a sizable lead. And now a 2-2 pitch in, misses for ball 3. So from an 0-2 count, Reynolds has worked it full. Milford with 2 on and nobody out. And the payoff pitch to Reynolds is low for ball 4. So a single to lead off the inning, and now back-to-back walks issued by Gilman, and Milford has the bases loaded with nobody out. And now we'll see Another powwow on the pitcher's mound amongst the Cherry Valley infielders. And right now it looks to be the shortstop, Evan Fritz, who's trying to calm down his starting pitcher, and Gilman is animated out there, shaking his head after missing with that ball four to Reynolds. He had him 0-2, but could not put him away. And now a huge spot for Tyler Almeida, who came through with Milford's first hit back in the second inning. And he takes the first pitch low for ball one. Milford left 11 runners on base in that loss to Leominster in the regular season finale. They have 3 on here with nobody out. Cherry Valley with the infield in tight. And Gilman now delivers a good pitch on the inside corner for a strike, a fastball that handcuffed Almeida, evening the count at 1. And Gilman wasting no time, ready with another pitch, and misses low. It kicks away from the catcher. Here comes Wild to the plate, and he will slide in safely with the first run of the game. Bordeaux's been able to block a couple of low pitches so far in this inning, but could not do it there. And the wild pitch results in the first run of the game crossing the plate as Milford takes a 1-0 lead. Well, a lot of times this season when Milford has had success with the bases loaded, it has been largely due to mistakes on the other side, whether it's been bases loaded walks, hit by pitches, or wild pitches. And so that's exactly what we see right here. And now a line drive down the line in right field. That's a fair ball rolling off towards the corner. Parker scores. Here comes Reynolds around from second base as Almeida will stop at second with a 2-run double. And that opens up a 3-0 lead for post 59. So Milford seizing momentum here in the fourth inning after a very quiet start to the night. The back-to-back walks got the starting pitcher for Cherry Valley rattled, and now Milford taking full advantage. First on the wild pitch, and now a 2-run double for Almeida, who's now 2 for 2 on the night. So he is now the lone base runner at second. There are still no outs in the inning. And Matt Shaver aggressively swinging at the first pitch. He loops it foul out of play. So these Milford fans have been waiting for something to cheer for all night. They've finally seen it here in the fourth, hoping to see this rally continue. Milford knows that a 3-run lead is not necessarily safe with this Cherry Valley squad. They've seen 3-run leads quickly evaporate. Shaver now sends a ball in the air out to right field. Backpedaling is Castigian, now settling to make the catch. Almeida tags at second base, now moves to third, and he will get there just ahead of the throw. With Castigian having to back up on that fly ball, Almeida knew he had a chance, so went back to tag and was able to slide in just ahead of the throw from the right fielder. So he advances to third base with only 1 out. And now Ambrosoni at the plate. He is 0 for 1. And he takes a fastball on the inside edge for strike 1. Ambrosoni was very hot through the middle portion of the season, but started to cool in those final 7 or 8 games of the season. He batted out of the number 2 spot through much of the year, but eventually moving down to the lower part of the order. Here's a 1-1 pitch, and it's sent on the ground in and out of the glove of the pitcher. That forces Almeida to hold up at third base as eventually Gilman is able to recover to get the out at first base. It's a hard shot right back to the mound. It ticked in and out of Gilman's glove, drifted a few feet over towards first base. And Gilman stayed calm to collect out number 2. So Almeida remains at third base now for Jacob Beater, trying to bring home another run in this frame. And Beater takes the first pitch right at the bottom of the strike zone. Beater struck out swinging to open up last inning. Now here's the 0-1. That misses low. The Milford dugout has been active since this fourth inning began. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and an off-balance swing from Beater puts him down in the count 1-2. Jacob had 8 runs batted in through the regular season. And ready now to see a 1-2 pitch. And he takes it down in the dirt, and another nice block for Bordeaux. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 3 runs in so far for Milford, with another runner standing at third. And the next pitch is high for ball 3. Should Beater reach, Chris Brunt would have a chance to bat in this bottom of the fourth. Gilman approving the sign from his catcher. And now the 3-2 pitch. That misses low for ball 4. The third walk for Gilman of the inning.
Coming to the plate, number 1, the shortstop, Chris Brunt.
Gilman had not walked a batter over his first 3 innings, had struck out 3, but his command has been faulty at times here in the fourth. He's walked 3 men. So far, 2 of them have come around to score. Milford now with runners at the corners for Chris Brunt. And Brunt takes the first pitch down in the dirt for ball 1, and again, Bordeaux was able to keep it in front. Playing that one off the chest protector, it bounced a few feet down the first base line, but no chance for either runner to advance. It's a 1-0 count on Brunt. You think back to that doubleheader with Wachusett and North County both coming to town here in Milford. Chris Brunt delivering the deciding blows in both of those games. Walk-off wins in both ends of the doubleheader, and Chris Brunt driving in the game-winning run both times. Here's the 1-1 pitch now with the runner taking off from first. It's hit on the ground to shortstop, fielded by Fritz. He throws quickly over to first base to get the out. That brings an end to the bottom of the fourth inning, but a good one for Post 59. They score 3 times to open up a 3-0 lead over Cherry Valley as we head to the top of the 5th inning when we return next on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on MyFM 101.3. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3 is brought to you in part by Oliva's Market Catering and Gift Shop. For your next family or business outing, visit Oliva's for all your catering needs. And coverage also brought to you in part by Liquor Plus, Upton's favorite family-owned liquor store. Fill it to the rim at Liquor Plus. First pitch swinging here in the top half of the 5th inning. The ball sent on the ground to third base. It was slow developing. Wild had to rush the throw to first base, but gets it there just in time to retire Nate Shoemaker. And a fast out for Jonathan Rice as Shoemaker grounds out 5-3. Rice now pitching with a lead for the first time tonight. That was something that Rice never had the opportunity to do in his no-hit performance against North County. Milford did not score their run until the bottom of the 7th inning, so the no-hitter was left in doubt right up until the very end, and it was going to be an interesting call to see if Coach DeVito would send Rice back out for an 8th inning should that game have gone into extras, but Chris Brunt was able to make sure that that did not happen. Rice now pitching with a 3-0 lead, and now a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Jason Paniant. Now takes the pitch low for ball 3. Panion came up in a crucial spot for Cherry Valley in the top of the 2nd inning with runners at the corners and only 1 out, but bounced into a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. Now takes a pitch at the knees to bring the count to 3-2. It's a huge missed opportunity for Cherry Valley, and now Milford with the 3-0 lead. Now the 3-2 pitch is sent on the ground to second base. Took a crazy hop on Shaver, but he was able to keep it in front of him and eventually throw out the runner at first base. Exploded on Shaver at the end. He used his chest to keep that ball on the infield dirt. and eventually picked it up off the dirt, fired to first for the 4-3 out, and it's 2 up and 2 down. That brings up the number 9 hitter, Aiden Gilman. And he takes the first pitch too far inside for ball 1. Gilman grounded out to shortstop in his first at bat. And now Jonathan Rice uncorks a pitch that missed about a foot outside of the left side batter's box. That one's slipping out of Rice's hand. A 2-ball, no strike count. And now this ball hits slowly on the ground again towards Shaver, a more routine play this time for the Milford High School second baseman. He's able to field it and throw to first base, and 3 quick ground ball outs spell a 1-2-3 inning for Cherry Valley. And so Rice with the shutdown inning after Milford takes the lead. We head on to the bottom of the 5th inning. It is still Milford 3 and Cherry Valley nothing here on MyFM 101.3. It is the top of the Milford order due up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Milford hanging on to a 3-0 lead over Cherry Valley. And Sean Rebello looking at strike 1 against Aiden Gilman, back out for a 5th inning of work on the pitcher's mound. And he quickly jumps ahead of Rebello, 0-2. It's been a quiet night for Sean so far, a pop-up to first base and a ground out to third. Now the 0-2 pitch is taken outside. Rebello was swinging early in the counts his first 2 times up, this time laying off these first 3 pitches he's seen. Here's the 1-2 offering, and Rebello sticks the bat out and sends it in the air lazily out to second base. An easy play for Tyrus Garvin, who grabs it for out number 1.
Now batting number 11, the third baseman, Aiden Wild.
We likely will not know who Milford will face tomorrow by the time our broadcast concludes, as the other game of interest for Milford is taking place at this same time. Meanwhile, Aiden Wild getting a hold of another pitch, driving it deep out to center field, but Nate Shoemaker was playing deep, respecting the power of Wild, and he was able to track that ball back and make the catch deep in straightaway center field for out number 2. But just to finish up the point, Shrewsbury and Framingham will be the game that impacts where Milford will play tomorrow. And that game in progress as we speak over at Holy Cross. It's 2 up and 2 down for Gilman in this bottom of the 5th inning, and now Sam Parker taking a first pitch strike. And now a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Parker walked as part of that rally last inning. One of 3 walks issued by Gilman. Was a huge factor in the inning, but now Parker pops it up out into shallow left field. Out goes the shortstop Fritz. He is there to make the catch, and a turnaround for Gilman as he's able to retire the side in order here in the bottom of the 5th inning, just like that. 5 innings are done here at Pheno Field. It is post 59 with a 3-0 lead over Cherry Valley, post 443, as you stay tuned to coverage of Milford Legion baseball right here on MyFM 101.3. Coverage also brought to you in part by Crystal Pool and Spa, the pool supply store that's all about fun, located on Route 140 in Bellingham. We are on to the top half of the 6th inning now here at Pheno Field. The lights on now with the sun setting off in the distance. Jonathan Rice out for a 6th inning of work for post 59. Dealing with the top of the Cherry Valley order, Tyrus Garvin, Evan Fritz, and Cam Hart. Hart lifts a foul ball up over the chain link behind home plate and out of play. 2 strikes on the batter. Garvin so far tonight has grounded out to second and grounded out to first. Now the next pitch on the way, and off the end of the bat, it's cued foul. Still no strikeouts in the game for Rice. He's been pitching to contact and doing so effectively through the first 5 innings. Now gets a foul ball, this time on a line to the backstop. And for the first time tonight, Milford with activity going in their bullpen, as it will be Justin Metcalf who starts to loosen. And now a swing and a miss, and so there it is, the first strikeout of the game for Rice, as he gets Garvin on a breaking ball. Garvin now 0 for 3, the first out recorded in the 6th. And now we'll see Evan Fritz, the shortstop. He has one of the 3 Cherry Valley hits on the night. Came back in the 3rd inning. And now takes one down and in. It skips off the glove of Reynolds. So it's going to be interesting to see how Coach DeVito utilized Justin Metcalf in these playoffs, as he had transitioned from a reliever role into more of a starting rotation role in the second half of the season, but warming up here, as now Cherry Valley will have a base runner, Evan Fritz, with a ground ball that snuck past Chris Brunt on the left side of the infield. That breaks up a string of 6 consecutive batters set down by Rice. Four hits now for Cherry Valley. Both teams now with 4 hits. And this game's certainly not out of reach. A 3-0 Milford lead in the 6th. And now a called strike into Cam Hart. Hart walked back in the 1st inning, then lined out to Aiden Wild at 3rd base in the 3rd inning. It was a hard hit ball, but right to Wild. Hart now with a foul ball hit out of play to bring the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. And now the 1-2 pitch, a half swing out of Hart. He sends it over to first base. The throw tails as it heads towards the 2nd base bag, but Chris Brunt was just barely able to hold on and maintain contact with the 2nd base bag. That ball was hit over in the direction of Sam Parker at first base, and instead of tracking back towards the first base bag, he elected to send the throw to second to cut down the lead runner, and sent a fastball, maybe more of a cutter, towards Chris Brunt at shortstop, but he was able to reach for it and get the out. So the forced play at 2nd base brings the 2nd out of the inning. Hart safe at first base on the fielder's choice. And now a 1-ball, no strike count on the catcher, Mike Bordeaux. He sends a fly ball out towards right field. In a few steps comes Tommy Ambrosoni. He's there to make the catch. And that out will bring an end to the top half of the 6th inning. 1 hit in the frame for Cherry Valley, but that is all. And we will head now to the bottom half of inning number 6 here at Pheno Field. It is a 3-0 lead for Milford as we bring you opening round coverage of the Zone 4 playoffs here on MyFM 101.3. Tim Coet back with you on the coverage of Milford Legion baseball on MyFM 101.3. It is a 3-0 lead for Milford over Cherry Valley. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Milford 3 defensive outs away from a victory here on the first night of the Zone 4 playoffs. And what we can do at this point is present to you a couple of scenarios as we move forward. Again, we don't know the final score yet between Shrewsbury and Framingham. We can tell you that Shrewsbury right now holds on to a 4-1 lead, as that game just finished up the bottom of the 3rd. Milford with a 3-0 lead here at Pheno Field. So should the 2 higher seeded teams prevail, should the current scores hold and Milford wins here at Pheno and Shrewsbury wins up at Holy Cross, that would set up a matchup of the 2 Zone 4 teams that made it into the state tournament last season in a playoff game tomorrow. That game would be played at Shrewsbury. If Milford were to play Framingham tomorrow, the game would be played here at Pheno Field. But again, nothing has gone final as of yet. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning here at Pheno. Milford with the 3-0 lead. Shrewsbury with a 4-1 lead over Framingham through 3 innings of play up at Holy Cross. Alex Reynolds leading off this home half of the 6th inning. And he is down or excuse me, the count now even to Reynolds, a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Gilman, the starting pitcher for Cherry Valley, still out there. As now Reynolds gets into this pitch, drives it deep out to left field. This is over the head of Jason Panion and will be extra bases as it rolls all the way to the fence. And Reynolds will cruise into second base. He will hold there with a leadoff double. That was a high drive out to left field, not quite enough to clear the fence, but an easy double for Alex Reynolds. And if Reynolds starts going with the bat again, that is going to be bad news for these other teams in this Zone 4 tournament. So Reynolds picks up the extra base hit. It's his 5th double and his 7th extra base hit overall on the season. Now, Coach Stevens back out of the dugout for Cherry Valley. We'll see if he makes the pitching change here. Right now, just a conversation. No one will be eliminated from the playoffs tonight, as it is double elimination in both of these brackets. And Coach Stevens will indeed make the change here. He takes the baseball from Gilman, who is frustrated now as he makes the change. And so we will pause here as Cherry Valley brings on a new arm. It is a 3-0 lead for post 59. We'll continue our coverage here in the bottom of the 6th inning in just a moment here on MyFM 101.3.
How would you like to help save a life today? Now you can at MILFORD Regional Medical Center by donating blood at the new Blood Donor Center inside MILFORD Regional's Old Emergency Department. This new donor site will start with blood drives twice a month in partnership with the American Red Cross. Did you know that someone in the United States needs blood every 2 seconds? And volunteer donors are the only source of blood for those who need transfusions? MILFORD Regional is proud to now offer a dedicated space for blood donations, helping the Red Cross fill its quota of collecting a staggering 14,000 blood and platelet donations every day. Eligible donors are urged to make an appointment to give as soon as possible. Please, make your MILFORD Regional appointment via the Blood Donor app by visiting redcrossblood.org or by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. That's redcrossblood.org or 1-800-RED-CROSS. Now you can help save a life by donating blood at MILFORD Regional.
Blair House of Milford Skilled Nursing and Rehabilitation Center provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy, adult daycare, and senior transportation. At Blair House of Milford, we're proud of our recent 5-star quality care rating from the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Studies. We achieved one of the highest ratings in the Milford area. Remember, you have a choice who provides your rehab needs. Tell your doctor or case manager that you insist on Blair House of Milford. Family owned and operated for more than 30 years. Call us at 508-473-1272 for more information or visit elderservices.com.
The new pitcher on for Cherry Valley is Chris Castigian. He comes in from right field to take over for Gilman. It ends up being a straight swap of positions as Gilman takes his place out in right field. Gilman pitched well in this game outside of a brief hiccup in the 4th inning, but that is the difference right now. As now we see Tyler Almeida send one on the ground to shortstop, a throw offline from Evan Fritz. But Cam Hart able to apply the tag on Almeida as he came down the line. So the out is recorded. That was rolled deep in the hole at shortstop off the bat of Tyler Almeida, who has the biggest blow in this game so far with the 2-run double back in the 4th. Retired for the first time tonight. Reynolds had to hold at second base, so Castigian retires the first man he faces. And now the pitch in the dirt to Matt Shaver. It drifts away towards the Milford on deck circle, and that will allow Reynolds to advance to third base. So the second wild pitch of the game. And that puts an insurance run at third for post 59 with 1 out in the 6th inning. Matt Shaver at the plate. He reached on an infield single back in the 2nd and then popped out to right field in his last at bat. Cherry Valley now expecting a bunt as Ryan Sanderson came charging in on the grass at third base. Shaver did not show bunt. It's now a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The righty Castigian ready with another pitch. That misses outside. As we mentioned earlier in the game, Castigian was the starting pitcher when these two teams met back on June 19th. Excuse me, when they met on June 30th, their second meeting of the season. Now pitching out of the bullpen, here's his 2-1, and it's swung on and missed. Shaver went lunging after an outside pitch. And now the 2-2 offering. And that is in for a called strike 3. It was a little bit of a late call from the umpire, but he eventually rings up Shaver. It's the first strikeout for Castigian, the fourth for Cherry Valley pitching. And so Reynolds holds at third base now with 2 down. And Tommy Ambrosoni with a swing and a miss to start off 0-1. Ambrosoni 0 for 2 so far with a fly out and a ground out. The 0-1 pitch, that just misses. Ambrosoni trying to drive in that run from third. Here's the 1-1 now. Ambrosoni lays off as that misses inside. More action warming up now in the Milford bullpen, as it looks like Sam Parker starts to loosen. We saw Metcalf tossing in the bullpen in the last inning. But the pitch count in good shape for Jonathan Rice, so would not be surprised to see the lefty come back out for the 7th. A 3-1 pitch upcoming now to Ambrosoni, and it's lined out to right field. That's down for a base hit. Reynolds comes in to score. A 2-out RBI single from Ambrosoni will give Milford now a 4-0 lead. So that run charged to the starting pitcher, Gilman. You can now close the book on Gilman. In 5 innings, the righty allowed 4 runs, all earned on 5 hits, walked 3 and struck out 3. The runner immediately takes off for second base, and the throw down from Bordeaux not in time. The pitch was low to Jacob Beater, and Ambrosoni with the stolen base to get into scoring position. Milford not taking the 4-run lead for granted, looking to tack on. As now Beater takes the pitch outside, he's ahead now 2-0. This crowd has continued to grow here at Pheno Field as the game has gone on. By far our largest crowd so far of the season. Here's a 2-0 pitch, Beater going after it. The pitch high, a huge secondary lead for Ambrosoni, and that did not go unnoticed by Bordeaux. He fired down to second base, and Ambrosoni had to hustle back to the bag. It's a 2-1 count now. Here's the pitch. That misses outside. Beater struck out in the 3rd inning and then walked in the 4th. Should he reach, Chris Brunt would come to the plate in this 6th inning. Here is the 3-1. And that is taken just off the outside part of the plate for ball 4. So there's the 2nd walk of the game for Beater. The first walk allowed by Castigian, but the 4th overall for Cherry Valley pitching. So it's now runners at 1st and 2nd for post 59 and a chance for Brunt. He looks for his first hit of this playoff game, swings at the first pitch and hits it deep in the hole at shortstop. It kicks off the glove of Fritz, rolls out into left field. Here comes Ambrosoni around from second base. He will score. Shaver trying to hustle into third base, and he will slide in safely ahead of the throw. Ryan Sanderson putting up an argument. He thought he had the tag on Shaver before the foot reached the bag, but the call will stand. And so an error at shortstop, the first error of the game, allows another run to score for post 59. They take a 5-0 lead. After the ball hit off of Fritz's glove, it did not roll far out into right field. But Ambrosoni, with good speed, was able to come around and score. Shaver took the opportunity to advance to third, and now Sean Rebello sends one high in the air out to left field. Racing back is Panion, and he's able to run it down for out number 3. That had a lot of carry on it, but Panion, in a full sprint, was able to make the over-the-shoulder catch for the out that ends the inning. But Milford able to tack on a couple of insurance runs. They will take a 5-0 lead into the 7th inning, looking to come away with a victory on night 1 of the playoffs. We'll see if they can seal the deal when we come back next here on MyFM 101.3. Set to begin the top half of the 7th inning here at Pheno Field. Jonathan Rice looking for another complete game effort. He's gone the distance in his last 2 starts. And he will face batters 5, 6, and 7 in the Cherry Valley order. Ryan Sanderson leads it off and drives it in the air out to deep center field. Racing back is Rebello, but that is over his head to the left of the goalposts out in center field, and it's a double for Sanderson to lead off this top of the 7th inning. He crushed that ball out to center field. Rebello, with his speed, could not run it down. So the hardest hit ball of the night off of Jonathan Rice, as Sanderson leads off the top half of the 7th with an extra base hit, so post 443 not going down without a fight. It's the 5th Cherry Valley hit of the evening, as Rice now delivers a called strike 1 into Chris Castigian. Finished off that 6th inning in relief, allowed a run on a hit, and now sends a bouncing ball over towards shortstop. A high hop for Chris Brunt, and the over-the-top throw to first base gets there in time. Castigian out 6-3, but on the play, Sanderson able to advance to third.
Now batting number 17, Nate Shoemaker.
And so now Nate Shoemaker will stand in. Shoemaker is 0 for 2. He did reach on a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning. Grounded out to third base in his last at-bat. Now the ball hit on the ground to shortstop. The runner froze off of third base as Brunt made the play and the throw to first base in time to get the out. So back-to-back ground ball outs to shortstop, and surprising that Sanderson didn't break for the plate there. And so quickly, Cherry Valley is down to their final out as Jason Panion stands in. And he takes the first pitch for a called strike 1. Panion grounded into a double play in his first at bat and then grounded out to second base. Now sends a fly ball out to center field. This one playable for Rebello. He waits for it to come down in the glove, makes the catch, and this ball game is over. So the booming double off the bat of Ryan Sanderson does nothing for Cherry Valley in the inning, as Milford finishes off an impressive 5-0 victory here to open up these 2018 Zone 4 playoffs. It was a big 3-run inning in the 4th that got it started for post 59, and solid pitching once again for Jonathan Rice as he notches his 3rd straight complete game shutout. Impressive for post 59. We will tally up all of the final stats in this one, and we'll bring them to you as part of our Mass Renewables of Bellingham post-game report. So stay tuned to our coverage of Milford Legion baseball right here on MyFM 101.3.